This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, everybody. We're about to begin our meeting for today. Do we have any volunteers on the prayer? Okay.
Go ahead. Lord, we thank you for this day, and we thank you for the freedom we have to come together and do the business of this county. Lord, be with all of us here as we make decisions for the county and the best interests of the citizens of Dooley County. We ask you to be with us as we do that in your most precious name. Amen.
Let's all stand and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. We have before you a proposed agenda. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move we accept the agenda.
We can take off Lance Woods at 9:15. He's not gonna be here. And we can delete the executive session had scheduled for 9:30. We had an employee that had requested to meet with y'all, but he has withdrawn his request. So we do not need that.
All right. And I didn't go around the table. David, was there anything you had to add to?
No,
Tim?
sir.
Eugene?
No.
Tom? Okay.
You see it, I accept it.
Okay. It has been motion and second. All in favor by the show of hand, that motion carried. Now, all minutes were emailed to all of us. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move we adopt as recorded, Mr. Chairman. I second.
It has been motion and second. Do we have any discussion on it? Oh, secretary ain't here. Don't want everything on stage. I didn't say that. I'm not on the record. But all in favor by the show of hands, that motion carried. Mr. Steve is on you now.
You'll sign that and pass those around. All right, sir.
Yeah, I just realized.
Bear with me. She's out of town at a meeting. So
Okay.
okay. You've got a financial report for the month of January. Take it, look at it. Got any questions? Be glad to try to answer them. Item number 3, just a reminder, there's a vacancy on the DFAX board. Item number 4 is just for information, the 2025 ACCG annual conference this year is scheduled for April the 24th through the 27th in Savannah. If anybody would like to go, get with Linda and she'll make the necessary arrangements. Item number 5, we've received the check from DOT for our LMIG 2025, the amount of $733,811.84. We need an authorization to open up a new checking account for those funds. And at the same time, need to go ahead and open up new checking accounts for our new SPLOST, which the merchants started collecting January 1. We'll get the first, the state will wire, the money the state sends us the end of this month will be what the merchants collected last month. So this will be the first of the new funds that we get for the new SPLOST. And just remind everybody the way that works, the state wires us the money each month. We've already got a checking account just called SPLOST 2025-2030. That's the account the state sends the money to. Then we in turn send a check to each of the cities for their portion of it. And then we will open up these new accounts for each one of the county projects. So we have a separate checking account for each county project. That way it's everything, it's easy to tell where each project stands in the process. It's a lot more bookkeeping on our side, but it's a lot clearer paper trail of everything. So what I'm asking is for board to approve a new checking account for LME 25 and a new SPOS account for the different projects the county that the voters approved for the county projects. This is courthouse and administrative buildings, debt service, EMS, fire, jail, library, recreation, and roads. So that's what I'm requesting new checking accounts for.
I make that motion, Mr. Chairman, that we approve new checking accounts for the LMIG and for the sponsors, all the sponsors.
I second.
Okay,
And I've previously up to now, all our checking accounts, we require 2 signatures on all checks. And up to now, the people authorized to sign checks have been the chairman, the vice chairman, the administrator, and the county clerk. I would like to add our finance manager now, Misty, to that list, just in case.
Mhm.
Yeah. She's made a lot of progress, and I feel very comfortable with her being added to that list.
It requires 2 signatures.
They still require 2 signatures.
But
Add
that's
that
separate.
to that motion, or that's separate?
Yeah,
Which one?
Add
if
it.
you don't mind, just letting it be part of that motion.
Okay, and I, also, that we add Ms. Misty to the, checking account.
Okay. Okay. All right. It has been motion and second. Do we have any other discussion on that other than Ms. Misty? If not, all in favor by the showing of the hand? Okay, that motion carries.
Hey, Mr. David, if you and Eugene hang around, I need to get y'all signatures on the paperwork. I've already got the paperwork from the bank for those accounts. I just need to get y'all's signature on it.
I have a question if I can, David.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Steve, 2024 has closed out Splash. Or do you think there'll be some more coming up?
There'll be no more money coming in,
Right.
but now
There's money to,
there's money in some of those accounts.
yeah.
Well, I think there's some money in some of those checking accounts that hasn't been spent yet.
Well, I was just looking, we made our budget projection there and it exceeded that, which is always good.
But then, on that note, what will we, since that old splash money is still there, now, how do we handle that?
Tell you what, okay, let me pull up the financial report right quick.
See, when we budgeted this,
Mhm.
and this is what's come in evidently.
Mhm.
On
So what
Was the
do we add?
overage what we expected?
Yeah, right.
the
Take
41,000.
First, let's just look at that. If you go to page 4 in your financial report, that's a list of all the checking accounts we currently have. The top group is all the checking accounts that's in the general. We have 3 different funds. We have a general fund, a grant fund, and a SPOS fund. And basically, that's like 3 sets of books. That bottom section there is all the checking accounts we currently have for the SPOS fund. And okay, that very first one there is showing a 0 balance. That was the account that the state would send us the 24 SPOS money to. Then we would turn around and disperse it. It never kept any money. The state sent it and we disperse it. We either disperse it to the cities or to our other checking accounts. So then we got a 24 SPOS account for courthouse. It still got $47,000 in it. We got an EMS SPOS account that's got $139,000 in it. The fire SPOS has got $195,000. The jail SPOS has got $294,000. The library's got $30,000. Recreation's got $64,000, and roads has got $177,000. And like I said, there'll be no more money coming into those accounts. But we can still be spending it. The courthouse, the way that ballot was read, that money can only be spent on courthouse. I gotta go back forgetting now. What can we spend that money on?
No.
I had to go back and look. EMS could be capital expenditures. And Don was holding that money to help make the payments on one of the new ambulances that ought to be getting delivered maybe later this year.
We ordered 2 years ago.
We've got 2 on order, and the oldest one's been ordered almost going on 3 years now, and they say it will be delivered sometime this year. The fire, capital expenditures, the jail can only be used on the 2015 jail bond. The library, capital expenditures at the building, the rec department, capital expenditures, and roads. So now, from now on, all the new money will be going into this SPLOST 2530. That's what the state's gonna send us the money. And the reason there's $1,000 in it, I had to set the account up so I could tell the state what the checking account number and all was for them to send us the money. So I had to transfer $1,000 in it to be able to open up the account at the bank. So anyway, so now next month, all these new checking accounts are going to show up under the SPLOST account, and all these others will still show there. And that top was going to go away because there's going to be no more money coming in it. And as all these other monies get spent, those will go away. So, yes.
We were projecting an overage. Where's the overage? Was there an overage?
Yeah.
It's not in that account.
Okay. There's a new account that got created that's not showing on this for excess funds
Debt service.
for debt. But okay, thank you. I need to. I can go tell you how much money is in it, but I got to go into our accounting software to pull that up.
Do we ever hear anything from Sanford Bishop about helping us with ambulance? Is that dead in the water? Or?
Back when it was running, I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah.
I know we had talked to them later.
That money hasn't been
Well, I don't think they haven't fully funded. The federal government hadn't fully adopted this fiscal year's budget. They just been doing it piecemeal, kicking the can down the road. Is what I understand. Yeah, there's $168,000 in the. No, I'm sorry. That's the wrong one. I'm sorry. Hold on. Excess revenue. There's $280,000 in that SPLOST excess revenues.
What did we budget?
I think a little less than that.
Huh?
I think we budgeted a little less than that, if I remember correctly.
So, y'all too. I mean, I'm just gonna ask another question, make a comment.
This money we had take earmark to help pay the 2015, now the ABM
Gotta go to debt.
loan payment this year to keep from all that payment having to come out of the general fund.
So we can't, when we start with this year's budget, you know what I was asking, how can that be, can any of that be applied?
And we've already taken in,
Mm-hmm.
we reduced for the ABM project. Now we borrowed $5 million over 15 years for the ABM project. So that payment, that annual payment's $400-something thousand. We have been, instead of having to budget all that $400,000 out of the general fund for this year, we planned on using this money to pay as much of that bond payment as we could. So we reduced what we had to budget out of the general fund for the ABM project.
In other words,
So these funds are already,
right,
this is
the excess, right?
that's the excess,
Okay, which is total of what, 280?
280.
So what we're gonna do is, we can't use that 280 on anything else except the debt. So we can free up. It's going in the budget, it's just how you.
We're
classify
freeing
it.
up $280,000
Yeah,
out of the general fund for this year.
It's just how you classify it. I guess.
And free up is a loose word because it was applied somewhere.
Yes.
We didn't,
We already used that to balance. We used that to balance this
Yeah,
year's
balance
budget.
this year's budget.
you already knew this was gonna come in.
We estimated what that was gonna be.
What'd you estimate it to be?
We said a little less.
509, 509, 251.
No, not excess funds.
No, that we budgeted that much of the 2024 to come in, this budget.
He's not the total budget, but
No.
I think he's talking about the excess over here.
Well, you had to work the excess out of it, and that's the figure Steve gave you.
Right.
Really, almost talking about the same thing then.
What they're saying is they're gonna spend it,
Well,
not they, y'all didn't spend it.
it's obligated.
What we
It's
need money
budget.
for?
We ain't got it like you.
Shoot. Debt.
Okay.
Borrow some more.
Number 6, just,
You know what they say, Commissioner Dixon? You got $1 million, the bank don't need you. You owe the bank $1 million, they love you.
They do. They do.
number 6, just for information for the planning commission has 3 zoning requests that they'll consider at their next meeting. Request number 1, the Huddlestons request a conditional use for parcel 10A20, which is down on Drayton Woods, which is down on the Flint River in the Drayton community. The property is currently zoned R2 multifamily. The conditional use is requested to allow a recreational vehicle to be placed on the property. And then items 2 and 3 are related. Ms. Watkins is requesting a zoning variance for, currently there's a parcel 74C 49. Hold on, let me pull that up. I can explain it maybe a little bit better. 74C what? 74C 49. Search. Parcel 74C 29 or 49. 49. This is an existing parcel north of Unadilla on Highway 41. This is the cotton gin right down here. It's that parcel right there. That parcel is 3 acres. And best I can recall, they're wanting to split it into 3 1-acre lots.
Build what?
Yeah.
For houses, I'm assuming.
They already building it that way, right?
Yeah, they already got a couple. I don't know if them people
Was
gonna
that,
like.
I missed it. Was that north of Unadilla?
That's north of you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know
Uh,
if them people gonna like that.
Are all those like 5 acres?
Yeah.
Wasn't those,
Well, those 3 for some.
That one's 3 acres,
The
evidently.
rest of them 5, yeah.
those were built for, those were designed for the bigger lots for decent, I mean, nicer houses up there.
But my thing, how would they get back there to the other?
Well, that's. Let me see what's it zoned. Let's see what it's zoned. It's zoned ag. All right, so in an ag zone, the minimum lot size is 1 acre. So that would qualify. The problem is splitting this up. The ag zone also requires 150 foot of road frontage per lot. Well, they don't have.
You can get 3. Maybe
But
get
they're asking for the variance.
So they asking, I reckon they're gonna have a look, anyway, split it up where they get access to these back lots less than, hold on, let me get back to where I'm going.
The city didn't annex that in up there?
They tried, but they never did.
Did they run water and all up there? No.
Not yet.
So they're requesting a 25-foot easement for both of the new lots that's gonna be created out of that one. But all that goes to the planning commission.
But they own it, like Terry Watson.
I don't know about all that. But
It's amazing.
that's a variance. The variances go for the planning commission, and the planning commission has the final say on those.
Go back to Q Public. I went to you once.
It was in some other name.
I thought.
Is it Terrell Hudson Brown?
That name,
Steve, something.
I thought I heard that.
anyway. But that all goes to the planning commission. That's,
Owner has to apply for the.
that's the first lot.
I want to start stuff.
Permit.
I do it. That's how.
Seems like the owner should have to apply for the.
And that goes for the planning. Now, this request number one, it's a conditional use, that'll go for the planning commission. And then the planning commission will make a recommendation to the board of commissioners on that one for conditional uses, but variances, the planning commission has the final say on those.
To Mr. Lester's point about whether the owner needs to apply, yes, you're right. And if it's not the owner, if it could be, however they might have multiple owners, it's not just showing on there. But that's something that you can apply, but that's something the planning commission would consider whether or not you have standing, right? Because if
But I think the owner give
a proxy,
to
For the potential buyer.
potential buyer.
they have to jump through those steps and they have to demonstrate that. I couldn't go, for instance, I couldn't go to rezone or go.
David's house.
Yeah, I couldn't go do that for David without his permission. And then if you're acting in, or if I'm a squatter on his property, I can't go do it. I mean, there's a level of review, but the process isn't necessarily at Glenn. It's the board has that authority.
Okay.
I did. Come on. Well, I that land comes up again. I think when we were back here a good while back, that's what the drag strip over there, right?
On the other side of the road.
On the other side of the road.
Other side of the road.
Okay.
On request number one, is that some of the stuff we talked about at that planning session we did with the
Yes,
planners on that board?
I wasn't there, but I've talked to Glenn. That's one of them.
And this was a parcel where there was some work being going on. It had to be a stop work order on, it was in violation of the flood ordinance. But they got back in compliance with that.
What did we agree? What was our plan of action after the?
Well, there was a neighbor that had applied, and then that neighbor died like a day or two before. And I believe that this gentleman came to the hearing, and whenever that just kind of went like that, he decided he wanted to push the issue himself. So he's not going forward. So it's the same issue, but just different parcel and different person. I don't know if that answers your question. I'm just telling you where
I'm trying to remember, what did we agree to that they were gonna work on when we left? Weren't they sort of stopping everything until?
I think they did sort of put things on hold, but I don't know how this is gonna affect that, putting things on hold.
But they're getting proper legal advice.
I don't know about that, but. But moving on.
Proper being.
We don't need the executive session. Item number 8, earlier we had requested sealed bids for the resurfacing of Liberty Church Road as our LMIG project for this year. We opened the bids this past Monday. Short version, we received 2 bids. We received a bid from Reeves Construction Company for $452,000 and from Reeves and Son for $584,000. So Reeves is the low bidder, and the engineer has reviewed them, and he recommends we accept the Reeves bid. Just for information, his cost estimate, our engineer's cost estimate was $735,000. And the total funds that we have to expend for LMIG 25 with the state support portion plus our 10% match, we need to spend $807,000. So we're going to have money left over that we can roll forward into next year's to
Couple of roads I got.
to do to do other stuff with. Having saying that, the engineer said just throw this out for consideration on Liberty Church Road. He said I think it's currently 18.5 feet, pavement's 18.5 feet wide. It's kind of a narrow, like a lot of our roads. You see, if you ever want to consider widening it, now would be the time to widen it and then resurface the whole thing so it won't look like a patch job if you come back later and just widen it and don't cover the whole area. He said he could request a price from Reeves for just doing that, and y'all could see if it's something y'all would entertain.
Widen it how much?
He suggested 2 feet on each side.
Not much traffic on the road.
It's fairly good track. I think it's a
He could have crossed.
fairly well traveled.
Just me knowing that, how do you handle the driveways? There's several paved driveways.
You can use another road.
But like I said, he just thrown it out, to get a price for y'all. If y'all wanted him to get a price, fine. If you don't, that's fine too.
Can I ask a question? What is the average width of a road? I know they vary.
I think if we were paving a road now, I think the minimum is a 20-foot wide road.
So you'd have 22 foot.
Well, probably a little less than that because
right,
the current edges are pretty ragged, and you're gonna probably lose probably 6 inches on each side to trim up, get back to good pavement all the way down. So we probably wind up with 21-foot wide road if we did that. If you're not interested, that's fine. The only thing I would suggest considering is in Pinehurst, I think they call it West Railroad Street. It goes along by in front of Nuts About Kids Daycare Center. Well, if you're heading in downtown Pinehurst, heading north, the city limits stop before you get to Highway 41. There's a short strip there that the city went to the city limits, and it looks mighty bad. Reeves is going to be right on the south side of Pinehurst doing Liberty Church Road. Just get a price from them, see what how much to go ahead and hit that while they're in the vicinity. Would y'all entertain that?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. But you're not interested in a widening Liberty Church Road?
I think you hit the right thing with Man Nuts Road.
Can we get a price? Does it cost us anything to get a price?
It costs us nothing to get a price.
No, that's not right.
I mean, if we're talking 40,000 to widen the road, fine, but I think it's more than that.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be around $200,000.
Say we could hit another road.
Yeah, well, I'm
Okay.
talking about.
All right, well, I'll get a price for the West Railroad Street.
Asphalt shrinking the mileage drastically.
Okay, all right. Get my thoughts together here. All right, so got that thing here. Okay, and then Dooley County has been approved for a $73,000 grant from the Environmental Protection Division of the Georgia Department of Natural Resources for another scrap tire amnesty event. Do y'all wish to?
I ain't gonna miss this one.
Yes.
This is.
Well, need a motion to officially accept that.
Offer the motion to accept the grant.
I second.
There has been motion and second. Do we have any discussion? I already got some time lined up right about it.
Now, just remind everybody, this is, we'll have to spend the money, and then the Department of Natural Resources will reimburse us 100% of the cost. So, and this has been a very successful program the last 2 times we've done it. So I think it's a very good program. Now, it does take time, and some of our employees are involved in accepting them, storing them, and then help loading them on trucks when they be hauled off. But I think it's well worth it. So,
Tony had a question.
Yeah, about the date. You know, a date yet.
Chris hasn't. They haven't determined the date. We can determine that, and I think we just want to be sure to set it far enough in advance so we get the word out.
We never get tired of taking their money.
So we have to keep up with about what it costs us per tire.
We have to kind of keep a running total. How many they have? Chris has got. They have gotten a pretty good idea of. They know about how many tires it'll take, because we'll accept them, we'll store them, and then we got a contract with somebody to haul them to a facility for them to be disposed and pay for them to be disposed of. So they know about how many tires that we can take. So they keep a running total as they come in, and we've told them in the past, if you run over, $1,000 or $2,000, that ain't no big deal. Just don't run over $10,000 or $20,000 worth.
They have allowed us some excess.
If there's still some money left, as I understand it, EPD has X amount of dollars per year for this type of program. If once we've started actually doing ours and they've got some unclaimed money that folks haven't applied for, they allow us to give you X amount of dollars again on top of that. So
Another discussion on it. We never voted on it. If not, all in favor by the show of hands. Okay, that motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I got.
I got one thing. If declared to the board, I forgot. I was asked about a pacemaker, the courthouse over there, when people with pacemakers, going off when they go through it. Is that back door over at the courthouse? Can people with pacemakers go in that? Do I see Burke over there saying we can go
If
through it?
anyone has any ADA requirements like that, American Disabilities Act or health issues, that is where the ramp is, and you can come in that back door and explain to the deputies there, and they have a way to deal with that without going through the metal detector.
Right.
So I've had a client that had to do that, and then I've seen other people that are in wheelchairs or limited mobility come in that way.
Okay.
But I have something, if I could give a brief update on the tabernacle, if I may.
Mm-hmm. Is this a place?
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Okay, go
Okay.
wrong.
I saw it in the paper.
For those who don't know, or you may have heard, at 5:30 Sunday morning, a large tree hit the tabernacle. It was about a 200-plus-year-old pine tree. It was on the other side of where you see here, but it was that's a cedar tree, but it was about that big. It was 4.5 feet in diameter. And it went about 100 feet, and it just missed the top. The top of the tree is what hit the building. On the other side, the exact other side of this, it's like a rectangle, if you will. But it went right here, and there's a support beam that goes across here for the main part of the tabernacle. It's out of that old hand-hewn beams. That's what saved the tabernacle, because it went it literally hit from right here to right here, and it knocked out this post, but didn't destroy it. It took 4 men to stand that post back up, and they've got some temporary scaffolding or stuff right here. The insurance adjuster's coming today, but it can be repaired. And so the campground also took out another tree. This is the tree right here that fell. This one. And there's one right over here on this side closer. And so we took that out too because it was leaning and it was going to be next. And so Sheriff Curtin and Ricky Arnold, Ricky's the board chairman, and Harris head the grounds. They have taken on this project and done wonders. Scotty Mashburn received, he's a point of contact for DCA, and because it had gone on the National Register last year for the 150th, it qualifies for potential funding from DCA. And so they sent an application out, I believe it was Tuesday morning, as soon as the state opened back up. And I flipped it right over to Beth Inglis, who's best friends with the person who's over DCA. And she had it done and the application back in by that day to help with some funding. And so just letting y'all know that there is insurance on the tabernacle, but the likely issue is going to be whether or not there's going to be uniformity on the roof, and then whether or not the whole thing gets re-roofed. In 1999, it was roofed at a cost. They took off the old, this one shows asphalt shingles that were on top of the other. They took off the asphalt shingles and the original shake shingles, and they put back Mr. Parker's Heating and Air led that effort to put in shake shingles. And when they did, they had to reinforce it. I mean, a lot of places, which again probably saved it. But those are now 25, 26 years old, and that's a pretty good life of a roof. So that's going to be a major undertaking. But that's probably one of the oldest buildings in Dooley County. And just want to give you an update that it's being prepared with some very good people who are looking at doing it and are underway. And they've been working every day this week since Sunday on it. I just want to give you all that update. It's not county property. It's owned by the United Methodist Church. But there's not a pot of money to fix it other than the insurance. And so they'll be meeting with the adjuster today. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, since Rodney's here, would you like him to give a report of how many roads or
that would be
what
great.
kind of damage we had from the storm? Come on up, Rodney. Just sort of give a brief report of what kind of damage you had to deal with after the strong winds come through Sunday morning.
There we go.
All right, sir.
We didn't have a lot of road damage. Had several trees down. They called me before day Sunday morning, and I hit the road. I think the biggest, we had some house damage. Houses had trees on them. Guy, what's his name? Alan Hall, lives on Nellyville. That shearing wind started at the corner of 90 and Pinehurst Byronville. Of course, y'all probably seen that. Blew trees on houses there, and went on, tore down some trees down at the ball field out there, and then it went straight on and got his house on Nellyville. Blew, like when the tornado hit that time, it blew his stuff all across the field. I mean, it was, they said 53-mile-an-hour wind, but that was some of the worst. And then I thought the party was over. 3 o'clock Sunday evening, I got a call, and I guess they had just discovered them. But Rocky Ford Road had a big cluster of trees. I'm talking big pines. And it took me 2 hours with a backhoe just to get the road open, because you had to delimit, drag them. There wasn't anywhere to push the trees because of Miss McCarty's pasture fence over there, and then they had a ridge of trees right there on the side. So I had to take portions and line them up down the road where we could get them up. But we finally got the last of those yesterday. I think it was about 5 loads we hauled out of there. But that was the worst, other than a tree here and there that, I mean, you just run and either drag it out of the road or bump it out of the road with the backhoe. But we was pretty fortunate, although some people got damage to their homes and probably some barns too. But it didn't affect us that much.
There was some trees across the road going into Byronville, right there at the city limit.
Yep.
2 big pine trees, oak trees, whatever the tree was, but I knew they was across the road there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we did what we could. As far as I know, everything's open. you know, right now. Very fortunate. It looked like it just hit the older, bigger pine trees.
Yeah. Mr. Lester inquired about the list of roads we put gravel on. Hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have a map that shows all those locations. And as he continues to add to it, we'll add to that map, so we'll be able to pull it up any time and show y'all where we put gravel on dirt roads. We're still working on that.
Yeah, we're working on that where it'd be easy accessible for y'all.
And it's working.
Some of the first ones we did were
Yeah.
still looking great.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's
I
working.
couldn't believe
It's
it.
working.
Yeah, it's-
Yeah, the weather hadn't agreed with us lately. You got to get everything just right, and a lot of those, like I said, I bought an attachment for the tractor out there, so a land plane, 12 foot wide, and once we put the rock down, Gilbert usually, he does smooth it out with the backhoe, any ridges in between dumps and all that. And I let it sit for a while, let people run it, and if it's too wet, you can't mess with it. But I'll take that ground plane and go back out there and run the road, and what it does, it revitalizes that gravel. Because you'll see some spots, probably like on Indian boundaries, that you have a bare spot, looks like, but see, that's already done its job. It's pressed in the ground, making that foundation. Then I'll come back and blend it and fluff it again, and it just keeps on and keeps on until it's pretty stable. But it's working good. It's working real good. I went back even right after a rain and rode a lot of them, and I mean it's super good. So we just got to work them in. It's not a finished product. Like I said, gravel rock's gonna move, but if it get into that ground and form the foundation and the base like what we were wanting, it's doing its job.
And while you're here, on the drainage project on West Road,
Mm-hmm.
what's the tentative schedule on that?
Well, there again, the weather hadn't agreed with us. We're not potentially going to have to. It's not like we've got to dig the road up. We'll have to probably close one lane as we're working on each side. But I went ahead and made the decision. The pipes, it took a while to get them run and made, but I'm on schedule within the next 2 weeks to have those pipes dropped off at West Road. So that if we see a good break in the weather, we go ahead and start on. So there's no set date to start it. I'm just working with the weather now.
Well, yeah, it ain't been cooperative lately.
And then River Road.
And then the drainage project on River Road,
Yeah, I spoke with the Griggs,
the contractor.
the contractor down there, and he's kind of leaning toward what I tell you, May.
I think he's trying to get everything lined up to do that in May. So.
Yeah, and he has already spoke with the pipe company, so they're aware. But he's trying these spring rains, like he said, he didn't want to. Well, one thing when you messing with dirt, you got to have dry dirt or workable dirt. And he didn't want to have that road open no longer than he had to, because with these pop-ups like we have in rain, you get in there and open it up, and it could delay the process. And then, if you get a good heavy rain, how long is it going to take to dry your dirt out? It takes a while. So he didn't want to have the road shut down for no longer than he had to. So we're looking at the May time frame on it.
Now like I said, on the West Road, we don't anticipate having to close the entire road. We may close one lane while they're working on the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But the River Road project, that road will have to be completely closed because they got to dig up the existing pipe under there. So we got a detour route planned, and anyway, we'll provide y'all more details the closer we get to that, because if you're coming from the south, you're actually going to have to detour, turn off of what we call River Road in Chris County on Drayton Road, that you'll come out at the four-way stop on Coney Road in Chris County. Because once you go past that road, there's no other paved roads that comes to Coney Road from River Road. And we've already talked to Chris County and they're gonna allow it, they understand, and they'll help us with the detour routes.
There's only one small dirt road.
And there's only one
Call
small,
your cemetery,
yeah,
Yeah, that's,
which is not good.
no.
Traffic.
no.
they classify that as coming out of Chris County, Cannon Road.
Yeah.
And like I said, I did the detour route to where if a semi truck was coming, you know, but like Commissioner Casey said, and I'm gonna say this, the locals will know their way around to zip through. I mean, you know, they can even come off of Drayton Road and cut through Gilbert, back over to T, and where the intersection is, out of Chris County. As far as, if I had to get a semi truck through there, that is the only route I know to take Drayton back out to the four-way on Coney, back down to Gilbert, and then detour them across over to hit Franklin, back in, and that's roughly 16 miles. But now, like I said, the locals will understand their way around. You know, they can,
But the closer we get to actually starting, we're gonna put up a sign on either side of it several weeks in advance saying, hey, this road will be closed effective, and have the date that it's gonna be closed there, just to help get word around ahead of time. Not wait till the day is closed and be a surprise for everybody.
yeah, I've got signs that they have. The signs already made. I think I'm probably gonna pick them up today, with the exception of the notification signs. There'll be 4 of them right at the detour points and at the site both ways. And what I did is had them design me a sign about the road being closed, but it'd be a removable small sign. And I just gotta call and give them a date. Won't take them long to do 4 of those. And that way we can, next time we do this, all I gotta do is replace the little sign with the date. But it'll give people a heads up.
Thanks, sir.
Yes, sir. I think that entire date I texted Chris to be sure, but it's stuck on my computer there because he had told me a while back, but I want to say it's like May the 5th starting.
Oh, the scrap tire.
Yeah, but I'll make you aware of.
Yeah, let me know as soon as we do. We'll start getting word spread around.
All right, thank you.
We don't want
Thank
the
you,
chairman
Ryan.
to miss out this time.
No,
I know it, man.
I'm saving the spot.
I got some out there too.
I'm saving the spot.
I'm missing that. I'm slowing around. I'm gonna be the first in line.
We is loaded up, load the trailer up, have it ready.
Do you have anything else?
See them
Mr.
point.
Chairman, I make a motion with adjourn.
That's it.
It has been motion in second. All in favor, please stand up and left. I will hope